Hello, welcome back to How to Draft. Today on How to Draft we're experiencing how you should not miss out on your first pick moxes. So here's another mox for the first pick miss out on. Fairly certain it's the pick here, because it's another on-colour mox. God, I think it'd be insane if we had two on-colour moxes. Mox goes well with Winter Orb, because, untaps whenever. And then there's also... in this pack there's, two other cards we could want. There's a Ajani Vengeant and Armageddon. There's a chance of Ajani Vengeant wheels, just because it's multicoloured, and so it's that hard to cast. We could also, we'd quite like a Flame Tongue Kabu or a Kitu Encampment. We'd play plenty of cards out of here. Armageddon's good, works like a Winter Orb in many ways. It's just sort of, you play a threat like a Moon Crusader, and then they don't have any lands, they can't do anything, and you can win the game. For now, we'll take our Mox and be happy. Play it instead of one of the planes. Nice little bit of artifact ramp. I quite like the new art on these moxes. You don't get to see a lot of it because obviously people don't pass the moxes very often. But it's quite beautiful. And I like all the new art in the cube. All the signets and that all look great. But a little bit of me wishes they hadn't done all of it with new art. Just because some of the old art would be good, like an old Abyss or whatever would actually look pretty nice. This is a tough pick. There's three options. There's Lightning Bolt. Good old Lightning Bolt. Hard to build a mono deck without it. But then there's Shrine of Burning Rage. Shrine of Burning Rage. That can kill them. Then there's Sorin Administrator, who is the best card in Q. Then there's Arid Mesa. Nice bit of fixing. My table, not taking it here. But then there's Spikeshot Elder. We already have a Bone Splitter, and putting a Bone Splitter on a Spikeshot Elder is something I really like doing. For now we've soft picked the Lightning Bolt. I think we're just going to take it. I think just taking the most efficient burn spell ever printed. It's gotta be right? Shrine of Burning Rage is good, but we'd happily table that or the Elder, or even the Arid Mesa out of this pack. I suppose we could cope with the Cloudcoat Ranger, but I'd rather not push the boundaries in terms of 5-drops with this deck. Taking good, efficient burn is something with which I can get on board. Another good thing about fetches, they go well with the Lavamancer, obviously. Fetch line goes to your graveyard, suddenly Lavamancer's got more targets. Good times. Whew. So, 3 options? 4 options? No, I don't think Earthquake's an option. So there's Land Tax, which is really good, but kind of controlling for our deck. There's Batter Skull. If we're taking the Stoneforge Mystic, this would easily be the pick. Which is great in a race, but it's kind of a 5-drop, it's not really what you want. But then there's Frenzied Goblin, who isn't much to look at. Let's be honest with ourselves. Frenzied Goblin is a 1/1 for 1. And you look at him and you think, well, in cube, I want 2/2s with haste for 1. But he's actually pretty potent. Because he comes down, and then as soon as they get their Wall of Omens, and think they're safe by the Wall of Omens, you just Frenzied Goblin them to death. I think I'm just going to take the Batterskull here. It is a 5-drop, but it's really hard to lose a race once you've got a Batterskull. And I feel like having one 5-drop's fine. And once I'm behind a Batterskull, it's, as expressed, hard to lose. Frenzied Goblin might table, just because it's so little to look at, and often people don't value that card unless they've played with it or played against it much. Ooh. Okay, we've got an off-colour Mox, which I don't think is the pick here. There's no more on-colour Moxes left in the cube, because I took one, and I failed to take one. So yeah, I'm just going to take a 2/2 for 1. As discussed, you want 2/2s with your 1 mana. I like that Arid Mesa at a table just because we're looking fairly evenly split between the red and the white, and in an aggressive deck you really want to be able to play your 1-drops on turn 1, essentially. You don't want to be waiting around for your white mana or for your red mana in the kind of straight boss list. So someone else out there is mono red, so they're probably going to take the Shrine out of that pack, unfortunately. There's the Devil's Play. Where were you when I was drafting my channel deck? So I think it's Incinerate here. It's either Incinerate or Boggart Ram Gang, and I think I'm leaning up towards the Incinerate. It's another efficient piece of burn, which is what you need. Just play it so that when they're at 9 life, they're not safe, essentially. That gives us with a burn spell that does 3 damage at 1, 1 at 2, and 1 at 3. Actually, we've got 2 at 2 now. Good times. The Ram Gang is good in mono red, but in mono red? Mono red? I like mono red. It's less good, essentially because the mana is much more difficult to cast. I could use some more early creatures to go with my Lightning Mauler. Going turn 1 Hound, turn 2 Lightning Mauler is pretty good, but it's not the best. I'll take a Knight of Glory. I mean, Pro Black's got to come up eventually, right? And Exalt is not relevant. Turn 1 is Moraro, turn 2 Knight of Glory, smash for 3. Sounds fairly effective. Obviously it doesn't... Exalted, I don't think we're going to get more than 1 or 2 triggers out of it, but we might. We don't play a ton of creatures right now, which is a shame. We need more creatures. And this helps our creature count by being a 2-1 for 2. Yeah. Go Goblin Raider. Goblin Piker, sorry. Goblin Raider's a 2-2 for 2. It's insane. Okay, so there's like 4 or 5 options. There's a sword. One of the better swords. A good control sword. There's a Geopede. There's a Ravenous Baboons. And there's an Eternal Dragon. For now I'm going to soft pick the Geopede. Swords are normally very good. I've played them in mono red decks recently and they've been fairly bad, especially mono red decks like this that aren't very creature heavy. Eternal Dragon's very good because he lasts forever. Lightning Greaves is good, but we've got Lightning Mauler to kind of do the same job, and Ravenous Baboons, we've got Avalanche Riders to do the same job. So I'm going to take the Geopede and now really hope to get that Arid Mesa back. Being able to smash for 5 with your Geopede is so much better than being able to smash for 3. Yeah, 3. Speaking of being able to smash for 5 with a Geopede, ooh, actually this is a tough pick. So there's Teetering Peaks, lovely little Teetering Peaks, +2/+0, who doesn't want that? There's Bloodbraid Elf, which is cost green, but then there's Savannah Lions, which is a great little 1-drop, and kind of what we're looking for. I mean, I still haven't found what I'm looking for, but it might be a Savannah Lions. I think there's no point in standing around saying I don't have enough creatures, and then not taking the very playable Boros creatures that land in your lap. So, we're going to take our Savannah Lions, and we're going to not be unhappy. And would you look at that? It's the Planeswalker wheel. I think a Ajani Vengeance better than Flame Tongue Kavu. It is fairly close. I mean, a Ajani Vengeance rarely more than a Lightning Helix, and Flame Tongue Kavu is often a 2 for 1. But the fact that he's a Planeswalker, he's on colour, he has a lot of potential to like lock down blockers and attackers and such. And, you know, a Lightning Helix that gains you another couple of life is not something that I don't want to play. Did the Arid Mesa failed table? That is bad. That is bad news. I think the Spike-Shot Elder and been unhappy. Didn't consider Spike-Shot Elder when I was looking at that sword. Perhaps I should have just taken the sword. No. Okay. Okay, I just had this wonderful image in my mind of equipping Batterskull to a Spike-Shot Elder and dealing 5 damage to people whilst gaining life. Okay, land decks probably shouldn't be going this late. Someone out there should want it, like a control deck of some sort. I want a Frenzied Goblin, because I don't like it when people block my creatures. I've got a few ways to make my creatures better with like Goblin and Bone Splitter and such. Inkwell Leviathan. Best card here is probably Knight of the Reliquary. Someone can have their brush land. So I could use a Plateau or another piece of fixing or 2. Or, you know, the Mox. The red Mox would be useful as well. Just saying. The thing about being is that you want to be blue in this cube so much because there's a chance that in pack 3 I just open excuse me, one of the powered blue cards, just like Mana Drain or something, and then really want to take it but can't. So being blue in this cube better than in most, essentially. Gideon's Lawkeeper might make the deck. It can be a little bit slow, but it can take care of blockers. Really? No one's the Reanimator deck? That's a shame. Or if they are, they wanted something other than Fauna Shame. Devil's Play, there's a chance it makes the deck. It's a nice finisher. Especially since it finishes them twice. See what I mean? We've opened Jace the Mind Sculptor, and Talarian Academy, and Cryptic Command. And actually what we're picking in this pack isn't immediately obvious. I mean, there's a Mana Crypt, which is fine. Helps us with our Batterskull, our Devil's Play. Means we can play a turn 2 Ajani Vengeance. But I'm not in love with Mana Crypt in this deck. There's a Loam Lion, we don't have any forests. There's an Honor the Pure, but I don't think we play nearly enough white creatures. There's a Nearheath Pilgrim, which is fine against us, and another good sideboard against other mono red decks. If we were true Nile, we could take the Thornscape Battle Mage. That's a great little 2 for 1 on a stick. So not a good opening pack at all. A couple of sick blue cards, which we're passing on. So it feels like we're just taking Mana Crypt here. Play it over our last land. I mean, it's fine, because